She was a sweet girl from a nice family in an ordinary neighborhood. Now Rhonda, at age 26, lives in a world of tricks, vice cops, and a heavy narcotics addiction. And she invites us into her life in this world. Rhonda is not just any streetwalker. She's a fascinating character, and almost everyone who comes into contact with her seems drawn to her, including the author. It was during a period when documentary writer and photographer George Mitchell was recovering from an emotional illness that he met Rhonda, in the same way that most men meet her, as a date. It was their only such encounter, but one that stuck in Mitchell's memory. Primarily because minutes after she'd received her money, this lovely young woman with a little girl innocence about her casually sat on the floor in front of him and shot drugs into her arm. 2 years later, in 1984, after meeting her again under different circumstances, he approached Rhonda with a rather extraordinary proposition. Would she be willing to allow him to document her life as she lived it for a year? The story would be whatever happened. She courageously said yes, and for many months, with a tape recorder in his hand and a camera over his shoulder, Mitchell became immersed in Rhonda's life. Her willingness to bring him and future readers into her world and into her mind proved remarkable. This unique and unforgettable book gives us Rhonda's story both in words and in Mitchell's many striking photographs. The story of a junkie hooker while she's on the streets. It is often disturbing, but also moving and touching, and sometimes even comical. For this book, Rhonda wrote, "I lived the first part of my life 2 miles or less from Ponce de Leon and Peachtree, completely oblivious to the way of life of some of my neighbors, the street people, junkies, prostitutes, winos, etc. When I first meet them, I felt sorry for them and wanted to help somehow, but before I knew it, I was one of them." By now, Rhonda has been one of them for as long as, possibly longer than, any other prostitute on the streets of Atlanta, and is known to be as addicted to opiates as a junkie can be. Rhonda is the most self-destructive person author George Mitchell has ever known, but she's also highly intelligent and charming. She's rebellious. She's a staunch defender of the underdog, and there's still a little girl innocence about her. In Volume 2, Rhonda's life continues to unfold day by day through interviews and dialogue, usually actual tape-recorded dialogue, and through Mitchell's many arresting and full-of-feeling photographs throughout the book. An important presence in the book is Rhonda's boyfriend, who is 8 years younger. Rhonda calls him my son, best friend, father, brother, lover, enemy, my everything. Rhonda's mother welcomes first Mitchell and later both Rhonda and Mitchell into her home for some very emotional conversations. Rhonda alternately charms and infuriates Mitchell, gives him laughter and hope along with despair and, ultimately, fear for her life. Mitchell's feelings for Rhonda shift during the course of working on the book, from giddy infatuation to a complex and close friendship. He also comes to feel that he cannot be only documentarian in the face of Rhonda's self-destruction, but must attempt to influence his subject as well. In this captivating book, we enter, through Mitchell's character, a subculture, usually off-limits to the rest of us, and we come to know one fascinating, engaging, and close to suicidal streetwalker, Rhonda, intimately.